Story number 1. The Forgotten Cabin. Alone in the dense forest, I stumbled upon an old, decrepit cabin hidden among the trees. The air was thick with an ominous stillness, and the shadows danced eerily around me. Despite the creeping sense of dread, I couldn't resist the pull of curiosity, drawing me towards the dilapidated structure. Entering the cabin, the musty scent of decay assaulted my senses. Cobwebs draped from the ceiling like sinister veils, and the floor creaked beneath my cautious steps. The silence was deafening, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves outside. As I explored further, a chill ran down my spine. The walls seemed to whisper secrets of the past, their faded wallpaper peeling like the skin of some ancient creature. In one corner, I discovered a collection of weathered journals, their pages yellowed with age. With trembling hands, I began to read. The entry spoke of a hermit who had once inhabited the cabin, driven mad by solitude and haunted by spectral visions. As I delved deeper into the journals, I felt a growing sense of unease gnawing at my sanity. Suddenly, a cold draft swept through the room, extinguishing the feeble candle I had brought with me. Darkness enveloped me like a suffocating shroud, and I could hear the sound of faint whispers echoing from the shadows. Panic seized me as I fumbled for my flashlight, the beam cutting through the oppressive blackness. But what I saw froze the blood in my veins. A figure stood before me, its features obscured by the cloak of darkness. With a trembling voice, I called out into the void, but there was no response. Fear gripped me like a vice as I realized that I was not alone in the cabin, that something sinister lurked in the shadows, watching, waiting. Desperate to escape, I bolted for the door, but it refused to budge, as if held shut by an unseen force. Tears welled in my eyes as I realized the truth. I was trapped, at the mercy of whatever malevolent presence inhabited this accursed place. And as the darkness closed in around me, I knew that I would never leave the forgotten cabin alive. Story 2. The Haunted Manor. Alone in the dead of night, I found myself standing before a looming manor shrouded in mist. Its towering spires reached towards the sky like skeletal fingers, casting long, sinister shadows that seemed to writhe with a life of their own. Despite the warning signs, crumbling stone, shattered windows, and overgrown ivy, I couldn't resist the urge to explore the abandoned estate. As I crossed the threshold, a chill swept through me, and I felt as though I had stepped into another realm entirely. The interior was a maze of decaying corridors and dilapidated chambers, each more haunting than the last. The walls were adorned with faded portraits of long-dead ancestors, their eyes following me with a malevolent gaze, and the air was thick with the scent of decay, as if the very walls were rotting from within. But it was the whispers that sent shivers down my spine, faint, spectral voices that seemed to emanate from the very depths of the manor. They spoke of tragedy and betrayal, of souls trapped in eternal torment, bound to the house by some unseen force. As I ventured deeper into the bowels of the manor, I stumbled upon a hidden chamber concealed behind a tapestry. Within its confines lay a decrepit altar, adorned with symbols of an ancient, long-forgotten religion. And at its center stood a single, flickering candle, casting dancing shadows upon the walls. But it was what lay beyond the altar that filled me with dread. A yawning chasm, its depths shrouded in darkness. And as I peered into its abyss, I felt a presence stirring within, a malevolent force that hungered for my soul. With a sinking heart, I realized that I was not alone in the haunted manor, that something ancient and evil lurked within its walls, waiting to claim me as its next victim. And as the whispers grew louder, I knew that I had to escape before it was too late. But try as I might, the manor seemed to conspire against me, its corridors twisting and turning like a labyrinth designed to ensnare the unwary. And as I frantically searched for a way out, I could feel the malevolent presence drawing closer, its icy tendrils reaching out to drag me into the darkness. In the end, I was forced to confront the truth, that some horrors are too great to escape, too ancient to be vanquished. And as the darkness consumed me, I knew that I would never leave the haunted manor alive. Story number 3. The Abandoned Asylum. Alone in the dead of night, I found myself standing before the imposing facade of an abandoned asylum. Its windows shattered and its halls cloaked in darkness. The air was heavy with the stench of decay, and a sense of foreboding hung thick in the air. Despite the warnings of those who dared not speak its name, I felt drawn to the asylum, as though some unseen force were guiding my steps. With trembling hands, I pushed open the rusted gates and stepped into the moonlit courtyard beyond. The asylum loomed before me like a giant tomb, its crumbling walls whispering secrets of madness and despair. And as I ventured deeper into its depths, I could feel the weight of the past pressing down upon me like a suffocating blanket. The corridors were a maze of darkness, punctuated only by the occasional flickering light bulb swinging from frayed wires. And the silence was deafening, broken only by the sound of my own ragged breath echoing off the walls. But it was the voices that haunted me the most, the tortured cries of the asylum's former inhabitants, their anguished wails reverberating through the empty halls. They spoke of unspeakable horrors, of experiments gone awry and souls driven to madness by the cruelty of their keepers. As I explored further, I stumbled upon a series of patient rooms, their walls adorned with faded murals depicting scenes of unspeakable horror. And in one particularly ominous chamber, I discovered a collection of medical instruments, their blades glinting in the dim light. But it was what lay beyond that filled me with dread. A hidden staircase leading down into the bowels of the asylum, its depths shrouded in darkness. And as I descended into the abyss, I could feel a malevolent presence stirring within, a force beyond comprehension that hungered for my soul. With a sinking heart, I realized that I was not alone in the abandoned asylum, that something ancient and evil lurked within its walls, waiting to claim me as its next victim. And as the voices grew louder, I knew that I had to escape before it was too late. But try as I might, the asylum seemed to conspire against me, its corridors shifting and changing like a nightmare come to life. And as I frantically searched for a way out, I could feel the malevolent presence drawing closer, its icy tendrils reaching out to drag me into the darkness. In the end, I was forced to confront the truth, that some horrors are too great to escape, too ancient to be vanquished. And as the darkness consumed me, I knew that I